Here's the grid then for Suzuka. So Mental Nev stuck it on pole in the Toyota. 200ths of a second just ahead of me in the Warm Motorsport Nissan. Second row of the grid, Darren Baldwin in the Peugeot. Great outcome for him last time at St. Croix. He'll be looking for a good result. Dave Lewis joins him alongside, hoping to stop him. We've got Martin Buckles in the Hyundai Dishwasher. He is starting alongside James Harben. In P7 in the 650S GT3 is Chand. He's got a really good qualifying under his belt. Stephen Spencer looking to stop him in the Corvette. Then we've got SimFx in the Viper alongside Marshall in the Subaru. Coming towards the lower end of the grid now, we've got Dave Robinson in the Toro Moto. Bad qualifying for the Aston Martin there. And Camille Flager there in the Dodge Viper. The other McLaren of McHugh is near the back of the grid with Edward Bull in the Hyundai. Also joining him right at the back, unfortunately, is James Dean Walsh in the Subaru. First outing for him today. So we're getting ready to go here at Suzuka for race number 3 of the Infiniti GT Manufacturer Series. Waiting for the lights to go out. A good run down to turn 1 is pretty much critical for everyone, as there will be a big concertina effect down there. I get a really good start from P2 on the grid, and I'm going to manage just to jump Mental Nev TC Idol in the Peugeot. Got a great start as well, and the Red Dead Bull, is closing up on us as well. As Rennie Chaos a little bit further back, Mental Nev now down to P4. There was a car off in the background I saw there. Was that SimFx in the Viper? It was, so he's now down at the back of the grid. As we enter the S's for the first time. Not really an overtaking spot through here, but moves will get made on the first lap as everyone's jostling for track position here at Suzuka. Let's have a look how it's going so far. So we've got Mental Nev at P4, we've got Buckles just on the back of him, we've got James Harben in the Chevrolet P6. We've got Spencer in the sister Cheese Whiz Chevrolet P7 for these guys so far. That's going to be a handful of a car at the minute. Coming down into the hairpin for the first time of asking TC Idol P3. Mental Nev's just been turned around here. What happened? Let's have a little bit of a look. So this is on board the Toyota. You just take a very wide line. That's going to give Buckles the room, and I think there is just contact there. And yeah, Buckles is waiting up, so he's doing the right thing. It's going to cost both them guys the race, I'm afraid, but contact will happen, especially on lap 1 of a race such as this. We've got a little bit of action going on for the top 10 position. As we do is we go through Spoon. It's all working out so far as Bull just managed to get his head, get his car past Welsh, sorry. So that is Bull now up into P10. Robinson trying to get on the back of Flager there, the Polish driver in the sister Viper. His teammates down the back. Oh, get everyone running it wide there. Coming through 130R for the first time, and there's a big battle a little bit further up then. The McLaren of Chand is just heading off this. Harben's managed to get past him, so Harben's got himself up there into P4. Very lofty position for a Chevrolet at Suzuka, that. I've took advantage of Mental Nev's spin a little bit earlier on, but the top 3 are starting to break away. We'll come back to those in a second. It is Chand in P5, Spencer in P6. Then we've got the Subaru. Is it the... Where's the other Subaru actually? Let's have a look. Yeah, so at the minute Collins P7. Where... There it is. Welsh is down there. So a good order so far as we enter into the second lap. Let's have a little bit of a recap of the chaos. So at the minute myself, Wall P1 in the Warm Motorsport Nissan GTR, starting actually to pull a gap here over the Dead Bull behind P2. It's Dave Lewis driving that one today. I was kind of conscious of this, and I was pulling quite a bit of a gap at this point, and I actually thought I messed up. I was sticking to my strategy. Kind of knew he might be on a little bit of a different one, but just thought I'd carry on regardless. Ball in the Peugeot. He is the biggest winner after the last time out in the Group 4s. Of course, he raised himself like 5 or 6 positions in the Drivers' Championship alone. Just on that one, put himself into P3 in the Championship. by a storming output at St Croix last time out, but the GR3 is a little bit more of a difficult beast to handle. Harben currently holding P4 in the championship. He hasn't moved around. This is a big old battle going on behind between Spencer, Chand and Collins. These guys jostling for that P5 position at the minute. Spencer's winning that one. Chand goes wide in the McLaren. There's been a bit of an encampment. We might be speaking to one of the McLaren drivers later on just about how difficult that Group 3 car is to get around, as Chand is demonstrating there. And in fact we see Mick Hugh get himself up into P11 then, with his teammate's demise. He's been challenged though by Welsh for that P11 spot. A little bit further up, Camille has managed to get himself up to P10. He was running at the back of the grid after turn 2, if you remember. He sort of got bumped wide, I think, and yeah, put him quite the way back of the grid. He's took advantage of some other people's misfortune as well. But a P10 at the minute for SimFx, and we've got McHugh and Welsh battling for P10 at the minute for honours there. Robinson in the Toro Morto, his teammates running in P2. So these guys may be running on split strategies at the minute. He is in Daniel Kvyat's car technically, so he'll be running on that. So we've got Bull in P8. He's chasing down Collins in P7. He himself is chasing down Flagger, who's picked up a little bit of a penalty. This is all starting to bunch up a little bit now in this battle for P6. The top 5 now starting to break away. So there is a cork in a bottle somewhere that needs to be popped. A little bit further back there was action. It was between these two, Welsh, and we've got McHugh, and these guys have swapped around the McLaren, proving a little bit tricky to handle in that tight and twisty sector 2, as Chand demonstrated to us last time out. Then we've got Nev in the Toyota, qualified on pole, had that accident with the Hyundai a little bit further back with Buckles, and yeah, he's right down at the back of the grid, but he now may have to switch his strategy up to bring himself back into the race. 3 laps down, we're about to start the 4th. Meanwhile at the top, I've just fastest lap of the race by me at the minute, 59.8, but I was planning on doing a mid-2s pace, which should see me save enough fuel to do a 2-stop strategy, which is what I was planning on doing this time around. Obviously strategies will change on track depending on what's going on. Probably not cover myself too much today. I don't like talking about myself, you'll probably realise that. Lewis then, I was dropping him at about 6/10 a lap. Now he can save fuel a lot better than I can, so that was kind of a worrying thought in all fairness. What's he got up his sleeve that I didn't know about yet, but I just kind of decided to ignore that, worry on my own sector times and stuff, and what would happen would happen. A little bit further behind him, Baldwin, who's on a good run of form at the minute in that Peugeot. There was talks of the Peugeot and the Nissan teams merging. We're not sure if that's going to happen yet. We're waiting for the contracts to be signed. But Baldwin, currently one of the informed drivers in this championship, was a champion of the what we call the Crayon League last time out. So he's definitely got proven performance in the bag. Currently running P3 in that Peugeot, but chasing him down are the 2 Chevrolets driven by Harben and Spencer. They do sound beautiful, these cars on track. Currently running P4 and P5. Welsh has managed to drop. We've got Bull. We've got Flagger. Yeah. So there was actually to get himself up another position. I lose audio for some reason. I think that might be my headset. I see you guys might not hear that. Robinson then, what's happened to Robinson? Is he pitted or has he had an off? Because he's right down at the back of the field now. So something has happened here. As we come into 130i, he's had this is not a pit lap, he's had an accident somewhere, he's 11 seconds down, so something's happened somewhere for Robinson. Right down at the back of the grid now in the Toro Morto, so he's got a lot of work to do as we see some drivers pit. So they're going to get rid of those mediums nice and early. Meanwhile, I thought my strategy was to do 20 minutes, 10 minutes, then 20 minutes. Normally would try and do less time on the mediums if I could avoid it, but they actually felt alright at this circuit, so I'm on the softs at the minute, just lapping in a comfortable pace, trying to get the softs to last 20 minutes. So that's about 10 laps. That's Suzuka. So that's what I was thinking at this time. If I can get 10 laps out of a set of softs, I'm happy. Without losing time later on in the stint, although it looks like Lewis behind me is pushing a little bit more, and he is setting personal best sectors as we go through. Lap 5 now, he's still setting personal best sectors. I'm not going to sit here and say he's pushing, he's not on that pace, but he's certainly trying to keep me within a certain window. It's close up then in the back. P4 got 3 cars involved in this one in total, with TCI like Dan Bolden not too far ahead. We've got Harbin, we've got Spencer, and we've got the Subaru getting involved in this one as well. We've got Bull not too far behind in the Hyundai, the other Hyundai a little bit further back, obviously, because of the incident it had a little bit earlier on in the race. Meanwhile, the 2 Chevrolets are trying to work together here in order to avoid getting overtaken by the Subaru. The Subaru will do better in this tight and twisty sector 2. Slightly superior lateral grip on the Subaru, but it just does run out of gas once we get to the faster sector 3. You'll notice once we've got past Spoon, basically, or past this hairpin, that the Chevrolets will start to pull away a little bit, and the Subaru will struggle to keep up, but will close up again during like the SS sections, etc. Now that is kind of to be expected. That's the way the balance of performance runs in these Group 3 machinery. So at the minute, this is your order. Everyone, as you see, a couple of pit stops have happened though, so we have got some out of position cars. So I'll try and point those out for you as we go. We've got Mental Nev trying to work his way back through the pack, of course. He had that incident lap 1. Now up to P11, so he's gone up a couple of places. We've got Robinson, who we think had that incident a couple of laps ago, on lap 4, on a recovery mission now. We've got over Hyundai. This one is the one that was involved in the incident with Mental Nev basically at the start of the race. So Buckles down in P13 at the minute with some work to do. And then we've got McHugh in the basically the 2 McLarens at the back of the grid, and I've been told these guys have now put my decal on their cars, so they have survived banishment from the league, so I've been assured of that. We're 60 minutes through the race now. We're 2 laps away from my pit, so my tyres at this point were starting to feel the pain a little bit. I've been nursing them quite a lot, hence the pace. Pace slowed down. I'm in mid to high 2 minutes, just managing things a little bit at the front. Lewis behind me started feeling the pain of his tyres a little bit earlier than me, looking at his times. He's normally Mr. Consistent, but you can tell he's just feeling the pain a little bit, that heavy Aston Martin. Baldwin's managed to keep in his window quite nicely, bringing Harbin along for the party. Harbin's teammate is pitted, so we've got Spencer there now, who's just coming out of the pits. So he's got some fresh rubber on that big lumpy number 55 Chevrolet, and he's going to be going long now. It's just a case of whether the cars ahead of him pit and whether they'll hold him up. Track like Suzuka, it's not the easiest track to pass. It's because of Grade 1 FIA Formula 1 circuit, but all that really matters is the safety. You've got a couple of overtaking spots, but not too many. Most of it is line astern. So some more pit stops have happened. One of them belonged to Baldwin, and he pitted from P3 and has come out behind Spencer in the Chevrolet. So Spencer's effectively managed to do the undercut on Baldwin here. Harbin just pitted, so he's on his outlap as well. So both these guys have leapfrogged the Peugeot in the pits. Now don't forget, they may be on different strategies. As I pit from the lead. I pit still with 16-15% fuel, so I had enough fuel to do another 2 laps if I needed to, but decided just to come in. I was going to run my medium stint now, so it was kind of important for me that I came out ahead of Lewis. who was on his outlap at the time, so was probably dealing with getting those tyres up to temperature as well. Fortunately for me, I do manage to come out ahead of him. I didn't have to put too much fuel in the car, so the car's quite light. It kind of means I can keep the pace up and not lose too much time to the car behind. The medium's nowhere near as grippy really as the very sticky soft tyre. You don't want to be on the medium any longer than you really have to be unless it plays into your strategies to do a longer stint. Some of these guys are doing that. So a one stop potentially was on the cards, but you'd have to run a really long stint on the mediums. You probably have to do about 15, not 15, about 12, 13 laps on him. Which is definitely doable. But we'll see how this all plays out. The minute we've got Welsh in P3, no sorry, that's Collins in P3. So I'm still getting used to everyone's names. I have got them on a sheet in front of me, so I will get your name wrong every now and again. So sorry Brucey. I'll get them wrong every now and again, but there we go. That's learning, isn't it? That's progression. I hope you like the new intro graphics as well for the grid. They were very kindly supplied by Infinity Decals as part of our sponsorship agreement, so thank you for him dedicating his time to do that for us today and give you a bit more of a visual. Say your exit then. Move with the race so far. He has pitted. Now onto his second stint. He was right at the back of the grid, don't forget. P7 for Sayer Exit now. I'm only saying his name because I actually can't pronounce his surname. So I might just call him Camille, which is his first name, but I'm sure you won't mind that. Lovely looking livery on that Dodge Viper, obviously representing Power Canvas Racing. Bull and Flagger then 8th and 9th, the Polish driver chasing down the Japanese car, which is on home soil, the dishwasher as we like to call it. And at the minute, the race. We've got McHugh then in the McLaren, currently being hassled by Mental Nev, our current championship leader. Number 25 Super, he's got to make easy work of this McLaren as he comes off into the pits. That helps Mental Nev out a little bit. He doesn't have a car holding him up, so he's now freely released into the air as we watch Flagger get past Bull. It's a great overtake by the Polish driver into turn 2 at Suzuka. A little bit further up, his teammate running up in P7. Spencer, who's carrying a little bit of a penalty there. Spencer's trying to. Spencer's been passed, sorry, by TC Idle somewhere along the line. So Baldwin's got past. James Harbin's still ahead of him. All these guys setting personal best lap times the last lap round. So that whatever happened must have just happened. So TC Idle actually sets purple sectors, and yeah, Spencer's a couple of temps down his best. So at the minute then, Baldwin's the man in the Ascension. I've got a couple of cars ahead of him he'd like out the way. One of them belongs to this man, Mr. James Harbin. And the number 27 Chevrolet, he's trying to put the pressure at the minute on the Subaru up ahead. I want to say Subaru pitted quite a few laps ago now, so he will have been closing up. Myself and Lewis have pitted. Lewis has just took the fastest lap of the race away from me, 59.7 for now. I, of course, like I say, I was tempted to push for that fastest lap. I actually was running an optimal of 158 something during the race, but to get it I'd need to push quite a lot, and I wasn't really up for doing that. I really just wanted to stick to my strategy. I meant on the mediums, still running high 2 minutes. On the medium tyre, that's kind of half to do with the low fuel you run it at as well, so that kind of offsets the tyre deficit you've got. But at this minute in time, Lewis is really starting to string in. He's put 259s in, he's really pushing now. So he's on a fast mid stint obviously, and just trying to reduce the deficit to me, which at one stage was like 11 seconds. He's trying to bring that back down again. I can't remember what it was at this stage in the race, but it was dropping during this, while I was on the mediums it was falling. Meanwhile Marshall then getting absolutely hassled by Harbin in the Chevrolet. That's the view he's going to have of him, so let's cut to the roof cam. You get a better view of it as we enter into the Degnas, and Harbour gets a lovely line, just clips that green AstroTurf. That does help with the grip a little bit. This is coming into one of the overtaking spots and into the hairpin. You need to be really committed to make a move down here though, or your opponent needs to outbrake themselves, because it's quite easy to defend at the same point. Then you go onto a really fast back straight almost, which isn't straight, down into Spoon, which is one of the most accident prone areas on the entire circuit. I know a couple of people did make slight errors down there, a lot of people taking it very cautiously. Collins, you can see running it right out to the apex, and you can see Baldwin in the background just stalking his prey as we come down to 130R for the 13th time of asking. Then Harben's going to get a really good run down here. That Chevrolet is brilliant in a straight line. He just can't make a move coming into 130R. He's going to try it down, coming down towards the Casio Triangle instead. He's a little bit too far back. He just caught him at the wrong moment there. Harben just had to lift out of it. That will have brought Baldwin a little bit further into the fight as we see Collins pits, so he's going to get rid of his mediums now, so that pumps everyone up a spot, and that's going to put Harben onto a podium position. Quite a few little fights now popping off in the field. One of them we've got here is Bull v Mental Nev versus Flyer. Mental Nev's trying to work his way through the field. He has got the pace. He has just stole the fastest lap as well, a 59.1. Superb pace there by the Toyota driver. Championship leader, of course, and the leader for a reason, is really quick. So he's now just trying to put the pressure on the dishwasher up ahead. Bull's got to try and cope with this onslaught as we go through the tight and twisty S's section. Over the hill and into the Degnas. There isn't really much room for Mental Nev to make a pass through here. He's gonna have to just tuck in for the time being. He does just that. So he has to back out of it a lot more because Bull had to defend, so it slowed them both down. You see the wastegate popping on the 2JZ engine. Nev gets on the brakes a lot later than Bull. Bull almost opens the door for him there and lets him go. It's a good sportsmanship there from the Hyundai driver if that's the case, or good tactics may I say, because he can now just steal the slipstream of that super up ahead, and it'll help him defend to the Viper of Flagger instead. There was a few things going on up ahead as well, but I'm now going to pit. I'm happy with my medium stint. I'm now going to come and get a full tank of gas, so I've ran every lap on the mediums within the 2-minute barrier that I'd set myself, so that should see me come out of the pits. I won't come out in P1 because Lewis is going to take that now. He's continuing on, but he's going to need to stop again. Harben's also going to get past in the Chevrolet, but now he is 6 laps into his stint, so he's going to have to come in a few laps as well. Come out of the pits now. Just going to get out ahead of the Viper of Sayer Exit there, who's defending with all his might to Spencer in the other Chevrolet. A couple of pit stops happening. We've got Baldwin in the pits as well. Luckily good he got out in front of that fight between Flagger there and Bull, because that's, as you see, Bull's had made a mistake somewhere. That last lap was a 2:04.6 for him, so he's made a massive error somewhere. It was running in the 2 minutes. So he's managed to get overtaken there by Flagger. Yeah, what I was saying is kind of unfortunate for Baldwin in a way, come out in some traffic. He's done a me at Bathurst, I think. It does slow you down a lot. But Mental Nev's just far enough ahead though. It's not going to worry him too much. So myself now at P3. And the One Motorsport, and again another shout out to Logan Luke for the livery. I've actually had some compliments on this. I didn't tell him that a young lad designed it. So people have seen this car and gone, oh, that looks nice, and I can't even claim ownership of the artistic rights to it. I've gone, no, a young lad made this. So if you're watching Logan Luke, again, I really appreciate your artistic talent on my car. I will be running this and the other livery that you made for me all season. so it will be on display in every video that I do in the Infinite GT Manufacturer Series this season. So again, really appreciate your work, my friend. We'll jump on board actually for a lap of Suzuka and just see what happens. So this is going on to lap number 16. Hopefully this isn't a lap where I make a massive error. Right, so don't forget fuel saving at this minute as well. So coming down into turn, look for the 50 board, just lift off a little bit of brake, trail brake, and down into third. I snatched the gears there to help the rotation of the car. Into the S's then. A lot of this in the GTR is spent off throttle. You're just dabbing and feeding the power in. You don't want the car to understeer here. As you're coming over the crest, you need to then snatch third. As you begin to turn right, again it helps the car rotate. This is tighter than it looks. Grab fourth on the way up, but that's just to conserve fuel. The car's got enough torque to pull you up the hill without losing too much speed. Into the Degners then. 50 metre ball again, swing the car in off the power, little dab down into third just to control the wheel spin on the exit of Degner 2 under the bridge, and into the hairpin we go. A heavy braking zone down here, look for the end of the curb, and down into second. Again, most cars can take first here, but the ratios in the GTR mean that first isn't really feasible. Power yourself out then, down the isn't straight down the back and into Spoon, one of the most dangerous corners on the circuit for most drivers. You want to again be braking just for the 50 metre board, run the curb on the inside, helps to bring the car inwards. You want to clip the curb on this side as well, it does help the car grip on the inside, and on the power as soon as you dare on your run up to 130R. The quicker you can get on the power, the faster your speed is coming down this straight. The Spoon's going to require just a little. I'm on fresh tyres, so I don't need to lift as much as before. So lift quite late there actually, and then down into the Casio triangle, braking about 120 metres down into second. Ride the curbs as much as you dare, and then power out down the main straight past the big old Ferris wheel. And Lewis and Harbin, as you can see, pretty much on identical strategies up ahead. With the amount of fuel they've got in the car, they're going to have to now refuel till the end of the race, so they may be in there for quite a while. That's going to promote Mental Nev up into a net P2, sorry, into a P2, but I think he's going to have to stop again. In fact he's due a pit stop any lap now, so he's going to come out. Is Dave Lewis just behind Mental Nev, so the Dead Bull needs to either get past this car quickly or hope he does pit pretty soon. Baldwin then, P4 for Baldwin, has managed to get a jump on Harbin, but I have a feeling Baldwin's going to have to pit again, probably for a bit of a splash and dash. Yes, I think he is going to need to do just that. Then we've got Collins, P6, Bull, P7, Spencer, P8 being chased down by Camille in P9 in that bright orange Viper. We've got Chand in the McLaren. I don't think he's pitted for quite a while. Chand. Then we've got Buckles in P11. Hasn't really recovered from that incident at the start of the race, Buckles. And we got Flager, P12 in the white Viper. We've got Robinson in P13, the Toro Morto. Not had the finest of races, but on his outlap now, so he's going to the end of the race. And we've got McHugh in P14 and Welsh P15 at the minute in time. So that's the order as it stands. We have about 14-15 minutes left to go in this one. Most people now on their final stint, so the order that you see shouldn't change too much before the end of the race unless we get some drama. So let's see what happens. We're watching Harbin now in his pursuit of his first pole position, not pole position, podium this season. He's got a couple of cars to navigate his way through, one of them driven by Collins up ahead. Collins just coming out of there, but he just gets a big tank slapper on, recovers it really well, but that's going to affect his speed all the way down to Spoon. Is Harbin going to be able to take advantage of that? He's got a really good run on him. No, Collins doesn't defend it, but Harbin doesn't go for the move. Probably thinks it's just a little bit risky to go for a move there. Goes for the better exit out of Spoon instead. So he's now going to have a really good run, but we've seen this happen before. There's a slow car up ahead that belongs to Baldwin. What happened there? So Baldwin coming into Spoon. I did say this was a dangerous corner. Is the exit of Spoon going to catch him out? There's some AstroTurf on the right hand side. You get a wheel on that, you're a goner. There he goes, yeah. I suppose that cameraman's still there. I would have absolutely cacked myself, but Baldwin now is probably going to be carrying a little bit of damage to that car. That's going to affect the performance. Harbin has to go off the road to get past him, so that gets one car out of Harbin's way. He's going to try and move on Marshall perhaps at the Casio triangle, is he? Or is he just going to have a little bit more patience, knowing the Subaru up ahead may well need to pit again? I think he does. So let's see if Collins pits. He doesn't this time around. Meanwhile, up at the front, I've got, I think at this point in the race it was about an 11-second lead over Lewis. I might be wrong on that. I've just set my fastest lap of the race at 59.7, but again I wasn't really pushing, didn't really want to because I didn't want to mess up, so I was just trying to run decent laps, to be fair. Lewis behind me I think now was pushing a little bit more, but I was having to react to what he did a little bit, so every time he went fast, pushed a little bit more the next one and just tried to keep that gap around the same. Harbour now, Marshall's actually had an incident somewhere. Let's have a look what happened here. Oh, he's just going to get it wrong. T1, as you can see the Chevrolet down there coming down into turn 1. He's just going to run it a bit too wide. That AstroTurf is a grippy boy and it will grab you by the ankles and drag you under. But Collins has managed to recover that nicely again, but that's going to let Baldwin back past. So Baldwin now has been gifted back with a P4. All that has meant that Harbin is now on course for that first podium, which would be a fantastic result for the Cheese Whiz team. They will celebrate with buckets and shoeies of Cheese Whiz. You have no doubt that. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen, aka Sweaty Keg, aka Alien, I'm not going to aka him anymore, Dave Lewis, P2 at the minute for him. Would be a good result. I think he'd be quite happy with that. He was saying in chat that he'd not really done too much practice at the circuit. I will openly on air say that in normal circumstances I probably wouldn't have had this result over him. It was just a lot of things went in my favour that night. That being said, quite happy with my pace at this stage in the race. I was ticking the boxes that I needed to tick, not really going outside the lines too much, just trying to keep it nice and consistent, I guess. Sometimes that's all you need to do in these races, to get yourself in a good position and stay consistent. So we've covered the top 5. Let's have a look what's going on a little bit further behind. We've got Spencer defending to Camille. SimFx all over the back. It's a battle of the Americas here for P6. Let's jump on board the Americans. They do sound really good though, these V8s. These boys do have Mental Nev chasing them down though, so they've got a fire-breathing Toyota not too far behind them. So they need to settle the differences pretty quick. They're coming up to Collins as well. Collins has had a pretty scruffy couple of laps. He's going to pit now, so it's going to chuck everyone else up a spot. So P5, P6 now for these two. Let's see if Camille goes for that move down the T1, just pull out the slipstream. Spencer doesn't appear to defend it too much, just a little bit of contact at the apex. Spencer's out wide then. Keeps the car rolling. That's going to let Mental Nev up though, up to P6. Spencer now down into P7 in the 55 Cheese Whiz car. We've got Collins then out of the pits. He's splashed and he's dashed. He's in P8. Robinson, fastest lap of the race so far. 5, great lap. Considering what sort of evening he was having. P9 for him. Then we've got Buckles in P10. He's just ahead of Bull in the other dishwasher. The two McLarens weren't having a great day of it. They weren't enjoying life, but McHugh P12 for him. Then we've got Flagger P13, Welsh P14 and Chand P15 right at the back, unfortunately for Chan. It's not been a good day for the McLaren guys at all. So just over 5 minutes left remaining in this one. Mental Nev's assault through the field continues. He's about to try and pick off his next victim, which is Camille up ahead in the Dodge. The Dodge actually defends this one, so he's putting a fight up. Nev tries to go around the outside, and the Subaru, not Subaru, is it? It's a Supra. Get your facts right, Chris. Nev has just put in the fastest lap of the race though last time round, which was a 1:59.1, I want to say. He's got rid of it now for some reason, but that's Gran Turismo Sport for you. So we're going to have to try and get the move done this lap. We've got about 2 or 3 laps remaining in this one. So not time for some of these guys to get the to battle over the final positions. Every position now means points. And just see how close the Toyota's getting through the S section. Almost swapping paint between these guys at the minute. Camille's actually doing a very good job of avoiding it, although it doesn't look like he's going to defend it going into the Degnas, but no, he is. And he's going to have to just bide his time for the time being. The hairpin's probably his next available shout if he manages to get a good run out of Degna 2, which he does. We'll see if Flagger defends it. He does. He goes to the inside. Does Nev go for the switchback and get a really good run out of here? His SimFx is not making this move easy. On the ball. But you can't get the feeling with the amount of time left. It's just a matter of time before these guys do end up having oh, he sort of ducks to the inside there, does Mentalnev, backs out of it at the last minute. The exit of Spoon might be a good one if Mentalnev could just force him wide. Good little battle this for P5. Nice, clean, respectful racing between both drivers. The minute SimFx coming out on top, he's held his position for at least a lap now. Just trying to put him off then, Mentalnev. He's just filling his mirrors with Toyota. So the more you can make him think about the car behind him and not about the apex and the braking points and all that, the better he's going to do. But it's a great run at that, and he's just managing to put a couple of temps on the Toyota driver. Further behind you can see Spencer there, kind of on his own at the minute. Collins P8, Robinson up to P9, then he's got Buckles chasing him down behind him. It's Aston Martin versus Hyundai in a road car contest. You'd say absolutely no way is the Hyundai going to make a move on Aston Martin, but he's going to go for it here. A nice move by Buckles as the Toro Morto goes wide. So he did come in like a torpedo. Bull then, P11, can he latch on to the back of Robinson? Anything going on a little bit further behind? Not too much. Let's focus in on what everyone else is doing then. So far in the lead, sound big-headed of me, but I've led this pretty much since lap 1, other than after the pits, of course. The gap to Lewis sort of hovered around the 10-second mark for all this second stint, and like I said, I was just trying to react to what he was doing. I'm about to start my last lap of the race, so we'll just follow this through to the end now. We'll just see what happens. Lewis, still an absolutely solid drive from this man. P2 on the road. He'll walk away from this one quite happy, I'd imagine. So more points for the Aston Martin Dead Bull Racing team. James Harben probably doing, if you can't see in his car, but I bet it's grin from ear to ear for Harben at the minute in the Chevrolet, a car which has no place on the podium here. As he's saying, that is quite a very good car. More points in the bag though for Baldwin. He's not had the best race. I think he's messed his strategy up a little bit. But more points in the bag in his championship hunt. Baldwin's actually proving to be a very real contender for this championship. P4 for him. He's getting chased down a little bit though by Camille in that Dodge. He has managed to pull a huge gap over Mentalnev and 6, so he's had an issue somewhere. A little bit further behind, we've just got to swap places then between Spencer and Collins. Maybe there was a little bit of contact between those guys, I'm not too sure. Buckles P9 for him. And we've got Robinson out of the pit, so he's going to come out in a very safe and secure P11. but he's not really going to have much time to do anything else about that. The 50-minute time is about to tick over, so we see Ibwen just take flag. The two McLarens across the line. What happens here? So McHugh P13, Chan P14. I've got a feeling McHugh's just going to lift off here. Yeah, he is. They're on across the side by side. Chan just takes it though. So Chan P13, McHugh P14. We've got Welsh in the last spot. Meanwhile, in the War Motorsport Nissan, myself really happy with this. Just a couple more corners to negotiate. My first win. This is going to mean that in the 3 races that we've had so far, of course, Mental Nev won the first time out at Bathurst. I think it was Mental Nev anyway, I'm pretty sure it was. Then we've got, in fact I might be getting my facts wrong. Someone in the comments will tell me the 3 different winners, or I might look it up for the press conference, we'll see. But yeah, take the flag for my first win of the season. Lewis is going to take second step of the podium. A solid drive from the Aston Martin driver there. P2 for him. Does he handbrake it? No, he doesn't. James Harben, first podium. James Harben, that I call anyway. First podium this season. He'll be chuffed with that. Slams it across sideways for the effect. And right, the line then, Baldwin and Camille. It's very close between these two. Baldwin's going to come out and take P4. So exit P5. Last place to P5 for him. We'll be chuffed with that. Mental Nev P6. Collins P7 in the end. Hard fought race. Buckles just grabs P8. Spencer P9 for Spencer. I think he's run out of fuel. Bull and Robinson. So Robinson did really close up, just didn't manage to get past him. Right, so at the drivers' press conference and following the race at Suzuka, joining me is James Harben, the Corvette Maestro, Darren Baldwin, the Peugeot French lover, and Evan in the lovely McLaren that is doing oh so well. So all 3 guys are here in the commentary booth just to give me a little bit of feedback on how they felt the race went and their hopes and dreams and aspirations for the future. So James, good season for you so far, first podium. How did that go for you?
A lot better than expected, to be honest. Happy to get third. Didn't really have many issues in the race. Just sort of stuck to my strategy, and it came good in the end. That's really about it. I didn't really have many battles. I had Darren buzzing around me all race, but we didn't get into much incidents. But yeah, very happy with that after last week, which didn't go so well. But yeah, first race went alright as well, so yeah, positive up to now.
Good stuff. Yeah, it's always handy when you don't have to battle people throughout the entire race. That's one thing that helped me out. Darren, I know with your sort of race, you were running really high for most of it, and it just looked to me like a little bit of a strategy mishap, maybe.
Yeah, overusing fuel, mate. That's what it was. I worked it out all wrong. I wanted to keep up with James, but I spun out forward to the end. I just pushed a little bit too hard. Yeah, next week I hope to be better.
Yeah, well, you've got the RCZ, which is the most dominant Group 4 car that possibly exists, but Laguna Seca I think it is next week, so there's not a lot of straight line there, so it'll be a bit of a mixed bag.
From previous practice sessions, it's been strong. Hopes are high.
Good. Well, you were the biggest winner of last week in terms of the championship. I sort of mentioned it in the commentary that we've just done of Suzuka, that you actually leaped about 5 places in the championship just now. So the result you got out of Suzuka, even though it probably could have been better, still not hurting your championship. Going into this one, you were sat 3rd. So yeah, well done anyway, mate. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Evan, the McLaren seemed very tricky, and it was the exact same at Bathurst. What's it like to drive?
Knife edge, dangerous, tricky, insane. It's hard work.
Yeah,
It's a bad choice.
Yeah, I've been there. I've bought the T-shirt and set fire to it, and yeah. So I've lived that. Already. In terms of Group 4, though, Group 4 car's really strong.
Group 4 is great. I love it, and you know, I might even choose it for Friday night for next championship race.
Yeah.
GTCC, but yeah, I like Group 4. McLaren's great, stable, fast. It's a strong car, which was strong last week actually.
So what happened at Suzuka then? What happened with you, right? Because there was one of you, I think it was Chand, that actually qualified P7.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The pace is in the car. What is it about it in race trim that upsets it so much?
I think he probably got a toe in qualifying because it just doesn't have the straight line speed, and that was evident when I tried to qualify because I didn't get a toe. Qualified right down the order, then went for the mediums to start. Was going to do a two-stop, tried to overdrive it to try and keep up with everybody because cars are literally driving away from me, and then pushed too hard, spun out, tried to adapt to a one-stop, messed that up, so that was basically the end of the race.
Yeah.
Damage limitation.
Yeah, fair enough. And you did spend a lot of your race in traffic. As I'm watching the screen now, you're currently embroiled in a battle with Collins in the Subaru with the other McLaren right up your chuff as well, so it did interrupt your race a little bit. In terms of next week at Laguna Seca though, positive for that? Think you'll do well there?
As long as I don't come a cropper in the corkscrew, yeah.
Should be fine. We'll worry about that when it comes to it. Yeah.
Yeah, apart from that, it's strong. It's got a decent front end on it, and it's quick. But slightest off on there, and you're spinning off in the sand.
Yeah, it's all going to be about how much track time you can get before the race starts next week, I guess, and just sort of get used to it. Well, gents, I'd like to thank you very much for giving me some of your time tonight to get the press conference out of the way. We look forward to Laguna Seca next week in the Group 4 machinery. So really starting to chomp through the league now. And yeah, I'll leave you with that. Thank you, ladies and gents, for viewing, of course. I actually closed this video as there's a massive accident on the way to the hairpin, which is going to be good viewing. It's one of the Toro Motos involved in it, but we'll go back to that. We'll have a look. Yeah, thanks for joining me on this one. We'll catch you for Laguna Seca next week. Don't forget to tune in to the video for that one. It's bound to be a corkscrewer. But sorry, that was a really bad joke. Well, we'll catch you then. Thanks, boys, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.